Yeah, I know it's been a while since we've last seen each other, right? But like I said, this is going to be a year, well not a year, a month that I'm just going to be taking to recharge, unwind a little bit, catch up on stuff I need to watch. So, um, the uploads are a little bit more scattered than usual, and I hope you guys can understand that, and I hope you guys still enjoy the content. And thank you for 780 subscribers. You guys are awesome. But it's a bit weird that I'm coming back with a horror movie of all things, but I mean, a new one just came out today, and yes, I have seen it. I will get to it when I get to it, but I thought we'd start by taking a look at the two previous installments because this is part of a franchise technically. So, why don't we start talking about The Strangers? This is a horror film that I didn't really know what to expect out of when I first saw it a good few years ago. I was initially introduced to it when I saw that Dead Meat was going to be doing a kill count on it, and I wanted to watch the movie before I saw that kill count, so I tracked down a copy and I gave it a watch, and it's pretty good. Like, I can understand where the hype comes from when people talk about this movie. It's a pretty good home invasion film, and it is a pretty solid horror film. It's actually scary, it is genuinely terrifying, and it is surprisingly effective, which is something that is usually not said very often about horror movies these days. So I thought we'd go ahead and just take a nice throwback way back to when this movie first came out and just talk about the things it did right. It's not perfect, no, and I don't think it's an amazing horror film, but it is a great one. And I do have a small little written review for it, so sit back, relax, enjoy my little vacation attire, and I hope you guys enjoy. This is one of those horror movies that continues to surprise me every time I've watched it, not just because of how it's not a pile of crap, but also on how unexpectedly well it is held up despite its staggering simplicity. Pros, great acting, outstanding spooky atmosphere, solid story, high tension, great pacing, actual genuine effective scares, and not just a reliance on jump scares, which, thank you, that is so refreshing. A somber ending, unnerving cinematography, fantastic directing, brisk runtime, and surprisingly high rewatchability. This is one of the most rewatchable horror films in recent memory, at least for me. And for the cons, there are a few. The story, while it is solid, it is very simple. It's just three strangers stalking and trying to kill this couple with a relationship on the rocks in a house in the middle of the woods. That's pretty much the movie. But they do a lot more with that than you'd think. But it does also kind of suffer from that simplicity because it doesn't really have like a grandiose scale or anything like that. And I'm fine with that because it actually does put more emphasis on the substance of the actual story itself. So I'm willing to forgive its simplicity. Average characters, outside the three strangers, the married couple is okay. Their acting is okay, their characters are okay, and I do genuinely empathize with them, and I do want them to survive through most of the movie. Which is a lot harder to do nowadays than you might imagine, because most characters nowadays are just generic cliche boring slasher fodder. But these two aren't. They're actually genuine characters, and I wanted them to survive, which made the ending all the more somber. And the body count is very low. I'm just going to say right now, there's only 3 deaths in this movie. Now, yes, that is going to disappoint some people because, especially considering that there are other home invasion films out there nowadays, like Ready or Not, for example. Not Ready or Not, sorry. Oh, wait, no, it is Ready or Not. Yeah. The that one horror film that had another home invasion plot and was also full of gore and a pretty high body count, whereas this one, it's very self-contained, it's very simple, and it has one of the lowest body counts I think I've ever seen in a horror movie. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but it's just, considering what I have seen recently, it doesn't really match up to that. And it does make me wonder, why not have a bigger body count? Was it a budget issue? Was it a story issue? Not entirely sure, but the few kills that are in this movie are effective, and there is one kill in particular that also kind of doubles as a jump scare that's actually effective. So, yeah, props there. So overall, I've always really liked this one. It has a nice, gritty, independent feel to it, despite being made by a big-name studio. I believe this is from Lionsgate, if my memory serves correctly. And as far as home invasion horror movies go, it's definitely one of the best of the subgenre. Sure, it has some issues, and its simplicity is a double-edged sword, but in its simplicity, it also finds its strength and remains focused, rather than just being over-reliant on spectacle instead of substance. Something that, unfortunately, the sequel did the opposite, but we'll get there when we get there. So, final verdict for The First Strangers: it's a solid, it's a strong, it's a well-deserved, it's an 8 out of 10. It is a great horror movie. I do recommend you check it out if you haven't seen it, and I do really enjoy it. It has its issues, it is very simple, but in that simplicity, it also finds its strength, and it does have very good focus. So, yeah, I do really enjoy The First Strangers, and if you like home invasion horror movies, give this one a try. And it is especially really good for Halloween. So, yep, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we gotta talk about Prey at Night next. Oh boy. See you for that review.
You cannot take it anymore.